Welcome to our channel, ladies and gentlemen. How many of you, like me, are sick and tired of this drama and the hullabaloo of who won the August elections? Because we are being treated and playing ping pong games and blame games of who won and who didn't win in the last polls. Recently, the debate took a new turn after Raila's main chief agent in the August polls, the one who was sitting at Bomas, none other than the Moran, Siatabao Ole Kanchori, published a book. And in that book, it is a two-double-edged sword that cuts Raila Amolo Odinga and cuts William Ruto. And as people were reading this book, they cherry-picked the corners, chapters and areas that suit their mentality, that suit what they want to hear. Ole Kanchori published a book entitled Why Baba is Not the Fifth. And in that book he explains why he thinks that Raila missed out on winning the 2022 elections. He points out at several loopholes and mistakes that he feels they did as Azimio fraternity. He talks of do I call sins of omission and commission, what they didn't do right and what they did wrong, and he points them out. Now he has faced many criticism because many are asking why now at a time when William Ruto is fighting legitimacy. Is he trying to legitimize William Samoei Ruto? So one of the people who weighed in this discussion was none other than Dennis Itumbi. Because there was a place where Kanchori said that he had deconstructed William Samoei Ruto in that book. Dennis Itumbi challenged Siatabao to name the chapters where he alleges that he had deconstructed William Samoei Ruto. And this is what Kanchori was asking. Do you want me to share screenshots of numerous parts of the book that deconstruct your boss? Be objective. And then Dennis Itumbi tells him, go on and share. There is no objectivity with facts. You have told us that Raila lost the election and did not even meet you as his chief agents. Facts are just that, facts. These particular ones from your pen. Like I told you, Dennis Itumbi and very many other members of the Kenya Kwanza team were cherry-picking the weaknesses that Kanchori was talking about. But there is one big debate that they are avoiding. And for those who did not read this book, I have a video where Ole Kanchori is summarizing his book. Because yes, it is true that Azimio had several loopholes. And there are two people who have welcomed the ideas in this book. The Azimio Deputy Party Leader Martha Karua said that the sentiments by Ole Kanchori should not be demonized and criticized. He did a good thing, a wonderful job, and he should be left alone. Winnie Odinga read this book and congratulated Ole Kanchori because one thing that they're trying to do, the Kenya Kwanza team thought that this book would break Azimio into pieces, but it has made them stronger because Ole Kanchori is speaking something that they must pick and improve on. Let us listen to what Ole Kanchori is saying because he is summarizing what he has said in the book, and you will realize that Dennis Itumbi is actually lying.
Baba could not have lost the election of 2022 if, one, the election was free and fair. Baba could not have lost if the election was free and fair. Number two, if we had put the mechanisms as Azimio, you know, if we had put the mechanisms in place to ensure that even if the other side or the arbiter attempted any monkey business, we were able to forestall them, Baba could not have lost. And so that is a broad answer. Because Baba did not lose on the vote. I can tell you that without any fear of contradiction or any slightest demur whatsoever. Baba did not lose on the vote. And if they think, and if I am wrong on that,
That Baba got more votes than
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And if
then where did they go?
They are in the server. Yeah, wafungue server.
When we say the server is where the issue is, explain to me how the server is the issue.
The people who are saying, oh, the server is CG, the public portal, CG, the server is, that is just taking Kenyans for fools. Taking Kenyans for fools. The public portal was nothing but what had been, IBC wanted us to see, was a PR exercise for IBC. But let me answer your question, yes. Eric, because you've asked. Hii mambo ya server, what is so hard about opening these servers? If there's nothing there, if there is nothing there, open it and say, you see, this is what the server is. And the opening of the server is a forensic exercise. The people who were in the polling stations, the presiding officers, they sent this information into the server directly. Then the people in the tallying centers, the 290 tallying centers, the constituency returning officers, filled in a physical form. Yeah. Which form we had a problem with. One of the issues we had raised was actually that form, because we had said this form is not the standard legal form that is supposed to be generated automatically. The way that IBC had done is that you could generate that form even in your house, as a returning officer. So the results that you'll find in the server are the original in the polling station that was sent, by the presiding officers.
Kanchori is saying that Raila lost unfairly to William Samoei Ruto, because he says that if the elections were fair, credible and verifiable, Raila would have not lost. And he's also saying that they had prepared mechanisms to avert the machinations and mischiefs from the other side, Raila would have not lost. And he's also saying another thing, that Raila did not lose. He had more votes than William Samoei Ruto. And then he's being asked, then what happened? He's saying that the numbers are stuck in the servers. And he's daring the Kenya Kwanza team to open this server for Kenyans to know the truth. There is something that I want us to demystify. Very many people have claimed that during the presidential petition, the Supreme Court allowed the opening of the server and that they realized that everything was okay. Let me tell you something. I'm not an IT guy, but there was no server that was opened. What was opened to the Azimio was the IEBC portal. And let me tell you something about the portal. Like Ole Kanchori is saying, portal is what the IEBC had fed with the wrong information, the information that they wanted us to see. And Ole Kanchori is saying that that is not the legal standard, because do you know that Ole Kanchori is a lawyer and he understands elections, and that is why Raila chose him, because should there be legal matters, he was able to raise them and deal with them. And he says that a returning officer or a presiding officer would even sit on his house in some hotel and generate those results. It was not the standard as required in our law. So this notion that the servers had been opened should be demystified. What was opened was the IEBC portal. And they are saying that the IEBC took the results, manipulated them, and fed them into their portal. And that is what was opened. Have you ever wondered why, ever since the whistleblower came up with the result, 8 million against Ruto's 5 million, no one has challenged those results? And if you have a video or an audio where any member of the IEBC or any member of the Kenya Kwanza team is challenging the results, please send me, because I've not seen. So in that video, you clearly see that Kanchori was not saying that Raila lost the election fair and square. He's saying that the Ruto camp had got some mischief on how they wanted to rig elections. And what Kanchori is talking about is that they didn't do enough to avert the stealing and the rigging. And had they done enough, we wouldn't have been where we are. So let us just demystify and understand that Kanchori is not saying that Raila Odinga lost on fair grounds. He's saying that Raila was cheated. And the Kenya Kwanza team that are cherry picking and yapping about this thing that Kanchori has said that Raila lost, they are weeping more than the bereaved. And the Azimio supporters who are criticizing Kanchori, I think Kanchori is giving Azimio an opportunity to sit back and just do a post-mortem of the August results, of the August preparations. What did they do right? Where did they miss the point? Because he was there in Bomas, he was the chief agent. And you know, these are human beings. There might have been some things that didn't go right. Then what Azimio needs to do is just to improve of them, or improve on them. This is not the time to start the blame game, because the Kenya Kwanza team is really watching from a distance. From a distance, they want the Azimio to break into pieces as a result of the book that Kanchori published. But I'm happy that Winnie Odinga, the lady at the center of these elections, is telling Kanchori, you've done a good job. I think she's now saying that they need to just look into a few areas, tighten the nuts so that they can move on. The Kenya Kwanza team must not lie to us, because Kanchori is very crystal clear, articulating that William Ruto did not lose. And in fact, he's saying we should open this server. Again and again, I want to add my voice. Like Kanchori is saying, what is so difficult in opening this server? Because it seems that this is the only way we can know the truth. In that server lies the truth. In that server lies the end of demonstrations. In that server lies the end of our debate on elections. In that server lies peace, reconciliation, and tranquility. So let us put things right. According to Kanchori, Raila Amolo Odinga lost as a result of his votes being stolen. But the good news that I'm getting from everywhere is that those results are still stuck in the server. Whether Kamagos is trying to interfere and tamper with them, I understand that this is a forensic audit, that if you change anything, you cannot rub the footprints, and this is why everyone is burning the midnight oil in Kenya Kwanza team to find out what they should do. Let me finish by asking you a question. Knowing how vocal the Kenya Kwanza team is, knowing who William Ruto is, knowing who Dennis Itumbi is, knowing Gachagua, knowing people like Charagei, if they had won and they knew very well that in that server lies their victory, do you think they would have taken a second without opening this server? Let's just be honest. Do you think it would have taken them a second to open this server? Let me tell you something. Something is not adding up. And very soon, the truth shall set us free. William Ruto is a man of God. Rigathi Gachagua lives with the bishop in the house. And the Bible is very clear. Let us speak the truth, and the truth shall set us free. As it is now, we are in chains. We are not free. The truth is in the server, and it is the server and only the server that shall set us free. In this altercation and war, Kanchori has won because he has challenged Itumbi to open the server. You know, Itumbi is good in propaganda and the war of words and in tweet and Instagram and Facebook. But this is a practical thing. It is about opening the server, not the war of words. And that is my take.